Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video. Baby Daisy is mixed up in the nursery today on General Hospital. Brooklyn researches Brit's past. Michael promises to have Curtis back against Drew. And Dante asks a favor of Sunny. Emma enters Dalton's office as Joss and Vaughn kissed to cover their espionage. Vaughn hopes she won't rat them out. Emma jokes that she didn't know going at it with the maintenance man was part of Joss' job. Vaughn says this could get him fired and asks if she can keep this to herself. Emma says his secret is safe. Vaughn heads out, and Emma tells Joss that her silence will cost her. Emma says she could tell Dalton what she saw, and maybe Dalton would fire Joss and give her the job she deserved in the first place. Joss asks Emma what she wants. Emma wants her to get the hell out of Dalton's office. At the Metro Court pool, Lulu apologizes to Gio for how he found out about his birth parents, which was her fault. He says she has nothing to be sorry about. They sit down, and Gio asks why she went digging for information on him in the first place. Lulu explains she was looking for information on her daughter when she learned about Brooklyn's pregnancy. She felt Dante had a right to know, as he's a good man. He stops her as the only family he can look at right now is Sunny and Rocco. Lulu says she's not going to force him to talk to Dante. Gio asks why she didn't tell Dante earlier. She explains she wanted to talk to Brooklyn first, and Brooklyn was upset to learn she had a son. She never got to see him before they took him from her. He thinks it is more proof that Brooklyn didn't want him, but Lulu says it's something birth mothers do to make it less difficult for them. Gio asks how Brooklyn got her to stay quiet. Lulu says Brooklyn didn't want to see her son's life disrupted. He becomes angry and yells Brooklyn didn't want her life disrupted. Gio thinks she's just trying to save face. Lulu doesn't think so, as Brooklyn doesn't care what others think of her. Gio still doesn't know why she didn't come looking for him, and how they have lived together all those months, and she did not sense something about him. He asks how Lulu figured it out. Lulu tells her about Lois defending him the night of Rocco's accident, and Dante ranting about how Lois and Gloria always protected him. Gio asks if she thinks Lois and Gloria were really looking out for him. Lulu thinks so, but they took it too far, and now he's paying the price. Lulu says she got the feeling Lois and Gloria were hoping nobody would ask questions about him and Camilla, and it would all work out. Lulu continues to tell him how she put the pieces together, that Camilla never was pregnant, and Brooklyn had a boy on May 15. Gio realizes he doesn't even know his own birthday. Va hits the pool and runs into Joss. She kisses him and says, "You started it, and now we are officially dating and have a big problem." She says Emma forced her to leave her alone in Dalton's office and is probably ransacking it now. Vaughn says Emma's been flirting with Dalton, and she's clearly on a mission to take him down. Joss knows they need to stop her because she has no idea the trouble she is getting into. Vaughn also notes that the closer Emma gets to Dalton, the more likely Anna will get involved and spook him. Joss knows how to get through to Emma and keep her away from Dalton. Back in Dalton's office, the professor finds Emma rifling through his papers. He can't wait to hear this explanation. Emma says Joss had to leave, and she offered to finish filing for her. She was just waiting for him to arrive. She reminds him that he told her to stop by any time. She's very serious about continuing her studies and asks for his help on an equation. At the Key Mansion, Brooklyn tells Marco that she wasn't in Port Charles for most of Brit's time here, and she needs to know what stories are true about her and which aren't. She wants Marco to focus on Brit stealing Lulu and Dan's embryo. Marco asks why she wants this information, and is she planning to use it against Lulu somehow. She says all he needs to know is that Lulu deserves some payback. Sunny drops by the batting cage where Dante and Rocco are practicing. Sunny sends Rocco to Dante alone. Dante assumes this is about D.A. Turner, and he's been locked out of an investigation which he now knows is about his dad. Dante is worried about him. Sunny assures his son that he can deal with the DA. Dante says his issues with Gio have made him realize how much he appreciates his dad. Sunny says Gio will come around sooner or later. Dante says in the meantime, he needs his dad to look after his boy. Back at the mansion, Rocco stops by and tells Brooklyn that he talked to Gio. Gio told him that he was glad they were brothers, but he is still mad at his dad. Rocco thinks the person Gio should be mad at is her. Michael drops by Curtis' office. Curtis welcomes him back and offers him his resignation. Michael is confused as Aurora is doing amazing under him. Curtis brings up Aurora's coverage, or lack thereof, surrounding Drew. He held his tongue because he had no choice. He tells Michael that Drew is blackmailing his wife. Michael won't accept his resignation and has his back against Drew. He tells Curtis to let Drew think he's winning. He'll get sloppy and slip up. He already did once and tells him how Drew used Wiley to try and help Willow win custody of the kids, and it backfired and Willow lost. Michael says Drew will slip up again, and that's when Curtis will strike. At the hospital, Sasha thanks both Carly and Felicia for offering her places to stay, but she's going back to the Quartermains. She is touched by their offers, and that she and Daisy have so many people who love them. She never had a family growing up, and now her daughter will. She also owes Willow for delivering her baby, and knows she must be devastated after losing custody. Carly tells Sasha about Willow passing out and having to be hospitalized. Sasha feels terrible for her. Baby Daisy is brought in, placed in Sasha's arms, and ready to go home. Sasha looks at the child and says, "This isn't my baby. What have you done with her? Where is my baby?" Nina stops Drew from going to see Willow, saying she's not ready to see him and may never be. Nina says Willow's under orders to stay calm. And as her mother, she's made sure Drew's not on the list for approved visitors. She also says Willow will be coming home with her today. Portia arrives, and Drew tells her to remind Nina that he can see Willow anytime he wants, and that the two of them seem to have forgotten who is in charge. Drew drags them off to Portia's office. He knows they've been working together against him and hired Jacinda to drug him. He says one more time going behind his back, or one more screw-up from them, and he'll expose them both. He will end Portia's career and Nina's relationship. Drew says he wants Nina lovingly by his and Willow's side when he brings Willow home, and he wants Portia to direct Curtis to write a piece on the miscarriage of justice that happened at the custody hearing. In a private room, Lucas checks on Willow, who he hears is going home today. She cries that there is no home without her children. Lucas says Michael isn't vindictive, and he's sure he will give her access to her kids once the dust settles. She thanks him, and he leaves to check her discharge orders. Later, Drew and Nina arrive to see Willow, who is resting. She cries that she's so tired and doesn't know why. Drew says she's been through so much, and they need to get her home. She mumbles, "Yes, please, home." Michael arrives and finds Sasha a wreck. Carly explains that the nurse brought the wrong baby, and Michael tells Sasha it will be fine. Lucas walks in with the real Daisy and puts her in Sasha's arms. Sasha tells Michael, "It's her. It's our little Daisy." Lucas explains that she still has her hospital bracelet on. She never went anywhere, and she must have been put in the wrong bassinet. Felicia pulls Lucas out of the room and asks how this mistake happened. Lucas doesn't know how Daisy got put in the wrong bassinet, and this should have happened. There are strict protocols in place to avoid this. Back at Aurora, Portia stops by Curtis' office and tells him what Drew wants now. She tries to talk him out of it, but Curtis tells her not to. From now on, they'll give Drew what he wants. Curtis says he'll run the editorial. In his office, Dalton helps Emma with her equation. She showers him with compliments about how he's a genius and says she'd love to see his lab. He says she can't see his research as his sponsors won't allow it. At the pool, Joss tells Vaughn that he needs to join Emma's animal activist group and then lead Emma down the wrong path. Also by the poolside, Gio can't believe he doesn't know his own birthday and wonders what kind of person doesn't know that about themselves. Lulu is sorry she blurted that out, and her delivery leaves a lot to be desired. Gio says she was just being real with him. On the patio at the Quartermain mansion, Brooklyn tells Rocco, this is a very complicated situation she, Dante, and Gio are in. As much as she thought about finding her son, it wasn't supposed to be like this, and she's not the one responsible for that. Rocco vents that he hopes it works out for her and storms off. Brooklyn looks at the photo of Britt. In Curtis' office, Portia asks Curtis what Michael will say about him running a positive story on Drew. Curtis says he'll handle Michael, and Drew is the real enemy. At the hospital, Willow signs her discharge papers, and Drew and Nina go to take her home. That's when they run into Carly, Michael, Sasha, and Daisy, who are also on their way home. Willow and Sasha lock eyes. On the next General Hospital, Curtis confides in Jordan that it may be too late for him and Portia. Trina rants to her mother how much she hates that man. Drew tells Willow that this gives them a fighting chance if she says yes. Isaiah warns Rick, "You mess with her, you mess with me." Michael confronts Sasha about wanting to cut him out of Daisy's life. Christina asks someone, "Are you going to turn me in?"